All right, the stream should be going. It is 7:01 p.m. It is November 14th, 2021. I am calling this meeting to order. Let us take attendance from top to bottom. Astral Winds.
I am here.
Ravenstone.
Yo.
Loop and Moon.
Yep.
Frozen Coats is noted absent. Icefire Bay.
So present.
KPM.
Here.
And I am here as well. All right, first topic of the BoD meeting is our KPM sent out the meeting minutes from 10/24. Did everyone get a chance to review those, and is there any discussion on them?
No discussion.
All right, then I make a motion to accept last meeting's minutes.
Seconded.
All right, the motion on the floor is to accept last meeting's minutes. Let us vote top to bottom. Astral Winds.
Yes.
Ravenstone.
Yep.
Lip and Moon. Sorry, Mara, I didn't catch it.
Solving real issues.
Yes.
Thank you. Frozen Coast is absent. Icefire Bay.
Yes.
KPM.
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. All right. The one and, well, I guess there's two technically, but the topic of the evening for the BoD is, should we open? I know there's a lot of people clamoring for it. Overall, the COVID numbers have dropped significantly. They're back down into where we were still playing this summer. Of course, we're not going to be out. Most of us will not be outdoors. The hospital situation has improved considerably. We have the hospital that I work at, their numbers have dropped in half. When it comes to people who are recovering from COVID, our COVID positive numbers have dropped significantly, and we actually are treating patients appropriately. No one's holding in the ED. I have firsthand reports that Alaska Regional ED is not crowded as well. I believe it's the same for all the other hospitals as. Overall hospitalizations have dropped by over 100. So thoughts are my current train of thought, and you all can discuss and modify this. But my train of thought is we put the closing and opening of the parks back down to the regional monarchs, make it their local call. If we do play, you must meet every other week. You must, unless you are a park that is crazy enough to play outdoors, which just by weather, Homer and Juno, of course, do like to play outdoors, which is perfectly fine. And then you must wear masks. You must please social distance, and please do not show up to park if you are sick. Or if you don't feel comfortable. Seeing a lot of regional variations. Drake, can you clarify regional variation?
Yeah, I just know that at one point, some hospitals, like Fairbanks for a while, had substantially more than some of the others did. So I'm just wondering if we're seeing like a fairly even decline, or if there's some areas that are still a little hotter.
I am pretty sure that it is a fairly even decline. Let me bring that up for you. Hold on. If anyone else has anything else to say.
It's not super important. I was just curious, since that could easily kind of lead to it being better for one area to be closed than the other. But if we just put it on local monarchs to make the decision, then they'll figure it out.
Right. It is overall, all of them have declined. looking at, I don't like the way they have their numbers reported dashboard because it's all clunky in my opinion. But if you break it down, they have gone down.
Yeah, I'm confirming that. That's what I saw when I looked at the numbers this morning. I was doing exactly the same thing.
Now, of course, we don't have to do this. This can be just a discussion to get started. We can table this. But I know, as I said, a lot of people, if you ask the populaces, they're chiming all the little chatter that I've seen. People would love to be able to meet again. So, yeah, this is just a thought, my proposal, and yeah, it's up to you guys.
For
So-
the most part, with us not just opening but putting it on the local level, I think that's a good compromise. We're not saying blanketly we're open, but putting it back to the parks to decide. And I apologize for cutting you off.
No, you're right, and I'm sorry. And to answer Rain's question, I forgot to mention that right now I would just start with meetings, the regular meetings, and let's hold off on fighters practice and ANS because those are usually indoor, dependent on various things, and I'd like to see how the regular meetings go first.
Well, this is Hazel, and at this point, if I'm absolutely ready to open up, we're outside, and if we don't open up, I need to petition for something similar to what is going on down at Dark Lodge Crossing. But again, we're playing outside, we're wearing masks, and we would be playing outside, we would be using masks, and we would be every other week. That would be the projected going forward. So I'm fourscore in favor of the local area making the decision at this time, given the numbers.
And yes, I would like everyone to meet on the same weekend. So we'd have to decide which would be the one we would want the first weekend, because I know those who are not going outside, the other 4 parks would have to resecure their gyms, and that might not necessarily be able to happen in a day or two. I only think of Astral Winds, whose first time of having to look outside their normal gym space. So that would be the only one that might not be able to go right away, but they might be able to.
Yeah, our current situation is we're looking for a gym. UAF has still not allowed non-student club activities. They have gym membership for non-student people, but you have to sign up for membership so they can track COVID that way. We're just waiting for responses back. I think that if the Monarchs were given the discretion to open and close as necessary, that would give us a little bit more time to find a place to play before we open back up. That way the populace could meet, because we're already in the -5 to -17s here in the interior.
You're fine. Just layer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How are the other parks feeling about this?
I talked to my folks. They're pretty on board for starting back up.
I know Frozen Coast isn't here, or at least Bromir isn't here, but I've seen their chat and they were very on board for opening back up when he brought it up.
I'd say that I definitely have a lot of folks that are chomping at the bit to do this, so I'm willing to at least give it a shot, see how it works out.
I agree. Astro Wind misses the wax.
Oh, I did make a document saying everything I said. Here, I just posted it in the chat. Basically, I believe it's oh look, it's kind of cool watching all the little icons pop up about everyone reading it. But yeah, basically, decision to have regular meeting will follow the regional monarchs. If you don't feel comfortable being around people or fall in a high risk category, of course, we recommend you don't join us. If you're sick, please don't come. Only regular meetings at this time every 2 weeks, unless you're outside, which you may meet every week, which would allow DLC to continue to operate under theirs. And then if when you guys are meeting outside, you have that option. I mean, you're more than welcome to do every 2 weeks, but you'll have that option as well. Masks are required, social distancing, and of course, if you test positive, please let us know ASAP.
Is the social distancing, are we talking about specifically when we're not playing the game?
Yeah. Yes, Drake.
I think that mostly applies to those big bro hugs that people like to do off to the side.
Yeah. In general, overall, I mean, I don't see people sitting in each other's laps on the sideline, and they usually have a respectable distance, especially when they're wearing masks. It's not so much when you're wearing masks. It's the make out sessions without the masks, right? That when you're that close, breathing in and at each other. You know what? I'm sorry.
I mean, unless the populace has questions, I don't think there was much dissent when we were previously talking about this in the week online.
Right?
Do we have a vote rather than sitting here for half an hour?
Second.
All right. So do we have was that a motion to vote on the proposal, Mara?
Yes, I would like a motion to vote on this proposal.
All right, and I believe I heard Ronan say second.
Sure did.
All right. So the motion on the floor is to accept the indoor mitigation plan and reopen. All right, here we go. Top to bottom, Astral Winds.
Big yes.
Ravenstone.
Yep.
Lupin Moon.
My people might kick my ass if I don't vote yes.
Frozen Coast is absent. Icefire Bay.
Oh yeah.
KPM.
Yes.
And I feel if I say no just to spite everyone, I'll get my ass kicked. So I will vote yes as well. There we have it. So we can start this weekend. Do you want to start with our first weekend being this weekend?
I'm in favor.
If we do, then the week on, week off will fall on Christmas, just as an FYI.
Well, let's see. 21st. I'm looking at the calendar. 21st, 19th. Yeah. No, I don't think it will follow on Christmas. I think the next COC meeting. Nope, it won't. It'll actually be the 18th and 19th. The COC meeting's on the 26th. So it'll be the 20th, 21st, 4th, 5th, 18th, 19th. It's New Year's, 1st and 2nd.
And New Year's Day.
Yeah, New Year's Day. So it's up to you guys. The power is now in your hands if you want to cancel New Year's Day or not.
I think that's the perfect cue for a hangover. What better way to start the year?
Yeah, wax are better than fireworks anyways.
All right.
Amen.
So you guys can plan for then trying to play Wacky Bats this Saturday the 20th and Sunday the 21st. There we go. All right.
Sweet.
Woot.
Woot. All right. We don't have to discuss this now. We can wait. I have DC on my mind, of course, because it's end ring. And this is my next topic. So now, yes, we're open now. Sure. My biggest concern is that, again, we're talking about bringing 6 parks from across the state into one building for a weekend. Pretty big building, granted. It's Raven Hall. But and again, we can table this. But do we want to continue planning DC, or would we rather have individual park end reigns with a with a Kingdom live stream awards, et cetera, and instead of like I said, put it to the local parks to have an end reign. And the funds that we would use for DC is, and I'm probably going to get backhanded from Rollo here in a second, but use them to possibly maybe cater a boxed lunch type feast for each park. And that way we're all individualized. I mean, I know it's not a big celebration together, but each park will have a chance to still celebrate their end reign and be with their own areas and not try to bring everyone together into an indoor event.
Boy, that's a hard one. I have to admit that we have to acknowledge that we do have unvaccinated people in our organization, and I'm not neither. We're just not going to get into that here, but we have them, and bringing them together from across the state. My toes are still curling as I say those words.
Right, and that you're on my line of thinking, and that's where I was kind of heading with this, Hazel.
Yeah, my overall
Yeah.
thoughts on this from a northern perspective, I'd have to ask the people, of course, but I mean, if we did something local that was with the added effect of maybe something digital from the kingdom or whatnot, so close to the holidays, and for those of us who have to travel, hundreds of miles through mountain passes, it might be a little less weight on our minds, especially considering that with all the uncertainty of the opening and closing, a lot of people haven't had time to get certain things together for a major event across the state. And then there is the point that Hazel brought up about, the unsurety of being able to pass COVID if we're all in a big building.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the mentality of we're still trying to open. There's a lot of planning that has to go into a large event like that, and there's a good chance we'd end up having a shutdown after investing a lot of money. I don't think it's worthwhile to pursue at this time.
Agreed.
Yeah, I totally agree. That money could be better spent in a lot of ways. Not just money, but we're often underestimating how much heartache there is in the work that people do for events that are canceled. And that's really brutal. You get everybody excited and then you shut it down, and for good reason, but still, why do that again?
Exactly. It's just something that a lot of us have already had to deal with in this whole COVID situation.
Yep.
And no more planned disappointment.
I'm trying, guys. I'm really trying.
You're good. That's why we're talking about it, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm bringing it up in November and not January.
Is it safe to say, well, I don't think I've heard anything from Gideon, but is it safe to say we're kind of like on a similar page here? Not necessarily something we have to table currently?
Looks that way from my perspective.
Yeah, it is for me too. I'm not Gideon, but I do have a vote on this board as well. So
Yeah, sorry, I was just trying to think if there was anything that I could add, and wasn't really coming up with anything that wouldn't just be like echoing other folks. Personally, I'm in favor of just making the call now, um, and I'm a little bit more in favor of doing an individual thing versus trying to coordinate everybody down. It definitely sucks, but I would rather have a clear answer now than dance around maybes and end up having to cancel anyway in January.
All right, then I would like to propose that we vote on canceling Dungeon Con 2022.
I would like to second it.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to cancel Dungeon Crawl 2022, and it has been seconded. So, top to bottom, Astral wins.
Yes.
Ravenstone,
Yes.
Lupin Moon,
Yes.
Frozen Coast is absent. Icefire Bay,
Yes.
KPM,
yes.
and I vote yes as well. It's a bummer, but I think it's in the best interest of our kingdom. I will get all these announcements and stuff posted up. I will let the rest of the DC team know the decision. And like I said, we can plan for let's when we get closer to end rain, we can plan for a more localized celebration, and we'll definitely talk offline and see what we can do to help make it better for everyone locally. And it'll be different and it'll be good. So it'll be fun. All right. Any other business for the board at this time? Hearing the crickets, I make a motion to bring this meeting to a close.
Seconded.
All right, motion on the floor is to close this meeting top to bottom. Astralman,
Yes.
Ravenstone,
Yes.
Lupin Moon,
Yep.
Frozen Coast is still absent. Icefire Bay,
Yes.
KPM,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. It is 7:24 p.m. It is still November 14th, 2021, and the BoD meeting is now closed. Very short CoC meeting, as you can tell. Not a whole lot going on at the moment. So ambassador report. What happened last Sunday, I shared to the Kingdom page, so hopefully y'all got a chance to see it. Wasn't very exciting. The highlights is battle. It is the proposition is now officially dead, but there is only going battle. Order of the battle knight will remain its own belt line. It will not move to sword knight. Although they did bring up an interesting discussion, something to think about that might come up down the future line is, what if we make all the belts their own belt line? So split Serpent Belt off into 3 belt pass, separate the I guess that's the only one that's 3, isn't it? Something to think about. I doubt it. It may or may not come up, but that it was brought up by several people, several kingdoms during the CoC meeting or the COM meeting.
Flame has its own, it has multiple too.
Which one? Sorry.
Flame.
Flame. That's the other one I was thinking of. I'm like, I kept going crown and sword. I'm like, where's the other one? Brain out the window. Let me see here. I had forgotten everything I discussed about. So let's see. They changed how the executive committee is some of how the positions sit a little bit. They did added that the ex-coms can only serve 2 years. So and the ex-com and the ex-com secretary will be voted on every other year. So, like, I believe it's even years for the ex-com. The ex-com secretary is the odd years. So that way there's some continuation and some form of continuity as they go on. Because as, if you all recall, this year, like, everyone resigned at the same time. And it was before they were even up, their offices were up for revoting. So there was a little bit of discontinuity here. So I have faith on the two that I've worked with so far. They seem to have some good head on their shoulders, and hopefully they can work with the AI BoD and get some of that transparency issues worked out that they were having. Failed. The volunteer suspension policy was changed that if someone is banned in their home kingdom, then they are automatically removed from their position, whether it's like the ex-com positions or whether they're on a committee, versus someone being banned and not in their home kingdom, because there was a few incidences where someone was like they're from Dragonspine, but like Desert Winds banned them, and that called for them to get pulled out of their position. So that was refined, and that's it. So yeah, that was the last one. Finally, I think we finally got through all the business from the major COM meeting, which was July, and yes, that was 4 months ago. So, yay. All right. So the big thing, as we were talking about, is coming up is end reign. We are now in the back half of the first half of my second reign. So the first 6 months, which means letters of intent are opening really soon. Rollo and I did the math and looked at the calendar, and you know what's funny? Actually, I'm going to stop because Drake, your comment. Most of the Kingdom monarchs, yes, had no idea what was going on because they had all switched out, except the ones that had been retained, which was very few. I was one of them, and Crix, I think, was another. And yeah, it was crazy because there was a big issue with Dragonspine versus Desert Winds versus a park that's trying to join, and they want to join Desert Winds versus Dragonspine, and the Dragonspine monarch was like, I don't know why she didn't address any of these. Very awkward. So anyway, back to what I was talking. Letters of intent are opening. That was my scroll brain. I apologize to everybody. We decided that we are going to open letters of intent Friday, November 26th. This would be Black Friday. So while you're out shopping and you really want to run for office, get your letters of intent open that day. They will remain open, and they will until December 26th, which is the last day of the last weekend in December. So we should have a full month for the month of the crown. If you are on the edge, you don't know, you want more questions, you want to know about running for champion, you want to know about running for monarch, any of the positions, reach out to your local officers. I'm sure they will gladly fill you in on how wonderful position it is. And especially if you want to know everything about being a champion or a GMR, reach out to Deli and Drake, because I'm going to make them tell you everything about how great those positions are.
Retired, damn it.
Not even close. All right. With that, one advantage of running for office this time around is we have voted to cancel Crown Quals. So you do not have to qualify via Crown Quals to run for office. Hooray. But now that we're open, I bet, because that's what I'm guessing what Rain's typing, because I'm just that good, is that they might have a local A&S contest now that we're open. So for those award seekers. I know he didn't say that at all, but yeah. So anyway, there you go. Letters of intent, Crown Quals, NRAIN's coming up. We're going to talk more about how we're going to handle NRAIN now that DC's canceled. So it's all going to kind of flow, and we're open, and hooray. And that's all. I'm just going to talk in circles because that's all I got. Anyone have anything for me tonight? Burning questions, excitement, joy, anything?
You can have some joy from me. I'm delighted we're open.
Just going to put this out here to everybody that's getting super excited. With us meeting up again, we have to take all kinds of precautions. One of those being wash your garb.
Oh yeah, I
Gotta pull that out of storage.
Garb? We have garb?
may have turned and scolded Rollo. Febreze is exactly like washing, exactly. Same thing. And Lysol, kind of Lysol it down. All right, I'm going with we don't got anything. So I am calling this meeting to close at 7:33. Have a good night, everybody.